What's up, guys? Today we're going to be going over one of my favorite Titan builds ever in Destiny 2 that just got a lot better with Act 2, and that's going to be the point contact cannon braces on Titan with the whole Thunderclap build. I've always loved this build. It's just so satisfying, so fun, great for Ackler, good for damage output, and now it's even easier to chain and does more damage. So jumping in and looking at the changes, Amplified Lightning Bolts now do 100% increased damage over base, up from 50%. Lightning Strike Final Blows now also refund melee energy, reduce the Thunderclap refund by 10% to compensate for the increased energy gains on average. So before you got energy back from getting hits with the Lightning Strikes, now it's also on Final Blows, but they reduce the refund on hit to compensate a little bit, but overall, as long as you're getting kills also, you're definitely getting more energy back than you would before, along with doing 50% more damage with the Lightning Bolts. So I'm jumping into the Prismatic build to fully take advantage of this exotic armor piece and to turn this exotic into an absolute beast. Again, the things to increase our damage. Starting off, when we're amplified, it will increase the damage of the lightning strikes. Then we have knockout on Prismatic to increase our melee range and damage. And both of those will be very passive and you'll always have it in this build. Then our first fragment is Courage, where our arc abilities will do more damage to enemies afflicted by darkness debuffs, along with, in the artifact, the Conductive Cosmic Crystal, doing the same name but now only for against stasis debuffs. So to take advantage of both of those things, we're going to be running the Diamond Lance. You create a Diamond Lance roughly every 5 seconds in this build, and with those you just pick them up, freeze your target, and you'll benefit from both of those damage increases. I usually run the Shackle Grenade, another way to get the Darkness debuff going, but if you're doing something with Overload, you could swap to Suppressor Grenade, or really whatever grenade you want. The Diamond Lance will be enough to proc both of those damage increases. So now with all those things going on, the Thunderclap does a lot of damage and you get it back very, very quickly. I would say overall the damage output isn't as high as Consecration, but it isn't that far behind. But I would say the big plus of the Thunderclap and the point contact cannon braces, the Ackler potential and range is higher than Consecration. Consecration is not low by any means, but you will be surprised by just how many things die with the Thunderclap and this exotic. It is pretty crazy. Then looking at all the stuff we have to get it back even faster, looking at the fragments, we have Balance, where getting all the arc final blows with the Thunderclap will give melee energy back. And we have Awakening, and we'll get all the rapid arc final blows also. We'll create an Ionic Trace, and Ionic Traces will just give you a chunk of all ability energy back, including obviously the melee. And to create another Ionic Trace with the artifact, we have Trace Evidence. Once again, the rapid final blows against jolted targets, which the lightning strikes from the gauntlet do inflict jolt, will create another Ionic Trace. So now with that, every time we use our melee, we should create 2 Ionic Traces, one from the artifact, one from the fragment. Along with that, all the hits and kills with the Thunderclap itself will refund energy. With all these things going on, it's very easy to use the Thunderclap and get 100% of the energy back just from using it, getting the hits and the final blows. So it's a very easy infinite loop without even going into our armor mods. So starting off of there, we have the Thick of It on the artifact to help us get armor charges while we get final blows while surrounded. And looking at all of our mods, I have 1 Connect Siphon, double Hands On. I have a melee kickstart and double heavy handed. Then charged up along with whatever resist or reserves you want. Then I have a Stacks on Stacks, a Orbs of Restoration, and an Invigoration to help get our melee back when we pick up the orbs. I have an Outreach, Distribution, and a Powerful Attraction. And the best stats to run is obviously going to be Strength and Resilience. The more strength you have, the easier it will be to chain the melee. I want to sacrifice 100 Resilience for that, so just try to balance as much as you can of both. So now with all that going on, not only will we do a lot of damage with the Thunderclap with all the different buffs, you'll get it back very, very quickly due to all of our fragments, mods, perks, artifact perks, whatever they are. And when you use your Thunderclap with the artifact mod where you get armor charges while surrounded, you should be able to get all 4 armor charges instantly due to Stacks on Stacks and picking up the 1 orb created from Heavy Handed, along with getting 2 stacks from being surrounded, because it'll double the 1 stack you get. So you should be fully charged with armor charges at all times with this build. Constantly getting the max energy back from melee kickstart is just a very easy loop to have infinite Thunderclaps that do a decent amount of damage and a huge range and are just great for general play. And that is where I think this build really shines. is for things like seasonal activities, where it's going to be a lot about ad clear and some higher health targets here and there. Because overall, I think that you have way more uptime on this build than Consecration. Consecration, once again, has great uptime, but this is just even better. And overall, this is really fun and very satisfying. Our final 2 fragments in this build are going to be Dawn to become Radiant when we use our melee attacks. And this will be great for increasing our weapon damage, also allowing us to deal with barrier champions. We have Blessing to get the health back on melee final blows. So in this build for champions, you can easily cover barriers at all time. You will always be Radiant because you will always be getting melee hits. Then for Unstoppable, you have the freezing from Diamond Lands along with suspending from your Shackle Grenade if that is what you're using. And finally for Overload, Jolt from the melee will stun them. You could also just use it with GLs this season. And finally, if you really want to, you could also use a Suppressor Grenade. So you can cover all 3 champion types very easily with this build. It doesn't have to revolve around any of the weapon artifact mods at all. It will always cover all 3 in any season. The final thing I want to talk about is my weapons. Usually I just run Monte Carlo because I think it is a great AR if you're using melees. And in this build, with how often you'll be using Thunderclap for basically everything, you don't really need weapons. It kind of is whatever you want. And that's why I just use Monte Carlo, because why not? In the off chance that you do need to get your melee back, it obviously is the best. Now I'm run Weather Special and a heavy GL or a sword. So I usually have an exotic slot anyway, so it's not too bad. You could run just a Pugilist primary instead. Then for whatever exotic special you want to use, let's say like the Choir of 1, and that would work really well also. The other thing to take into account is maybe you want to try to build up your Transcendence faster, and that is where using like a Strand Reachlight to help build up the darkness portion of Transcendence would be pretty nice. But overall, I think Transcendence isn't as big of a point in this build compared to Consecration. Consecration, you really need to build up Transcendence and take advantage of it to really spam the melee attack. But with this, it already is pretty much an infinite loop anyways. So once you pop Transcendence, not too much changes in terms of your uptime on Thunderclap. You do get, obviously, a better grenade and a little bit more damage output. So it still is useful, just not as important as it is with Consecration. Anyways, that is the full build. I'll go ahead and link it down below. This is definitely a build I've used a lot throughout the years, and it's definitely my favorite Titan build. Now, of course, I have like abused Strand when it was popular and really broken. Same with Consecration. And even though those are probably the 2 builds I've used the most because they're just broken, this is definitely my favorite overall. So always definitely check it out if you haven't yet. Like usual, I think that's be it for the video. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.